I'm going to start by saying something that you might have heard so many times, you will fall to sleep. Please do, if you've heard it before. But I'll start off saying a few things that I said 1.5 weeks ago at Health 2.0. That's how we present us in Silicon Valley, the Nordics. So it's going to be a combination of what we presented internationally and what I'd like to present to you. But I'll try to rush through a little. Connected health. How many of you are familiar with what connected health is and the opportunities in that area? Most of you. Okay. So this is what it is today. If I get a heart attack, this is the Western world. If I get a heart attack and I survive, luckily, I will have a checkup every 6 months or so if I live in Sweden or in the Nordics or in Europe. And my doctor will check heart pressure, frequency, EEG, all kinds of things the doctor will check on a specific day and time. Except in some cases, in Lund, Malmö, and in Umeå, I think, where they have LifePod. How many of you know LifePod? Some of you do, yeah. So LifePod, this is where the clinic is with you at all times. Continuously or discontinuously, but like watching you with a wearable of some kind or with Koala Life. This is a Stockholm company. LifePod is a Lund Malmö company. Måns here represents cross-technology solutions with a LifePod solution. And partners with them, I guess, your partners, Koala Life, with this nicely designed little device that you can use a couple of times a day to check even heart murmur. Or you simply put into your app your vital data. So this is how the clinic sees it. With a smart algorithm, the clinic knows what patients to attend to and what not. So instead of being checked up on March 31st at 3 o'clock, when I possibly don't need the doctor will know when I need him or her. This is just one solution. Oh, sorry, I was wrong computer. Another one that we have already today, nothing really, it's not rocket science, but this is Tummy Lab. Any of you have heard of Tummy Lab? Okay, it's for IBS or bubbly tummy, irritable bowel syndrome. It's a disease that is increasing all over the world. 5% of the Swedish population has IBS. 40% of the Mexican population in Mexico has IBS, and it's increasing, and nobody knows why. This is a diagnosis that you get when you've ruled out everything else. It's like a black hole, okay? We know very little about it, and there's no cure. So this is an app. Instead of writing a diary for months on everything you eat, toilet visits, training visits, whatever you do and how you feel, all ingredients you put in your mouth, in everything. Instead of writing a diary and trying to find patterns, Tummy Lab will find patterns for you and bring back trends and discoveries. If you put it into this app, the same things. That's just the start of something. These guys who developed that are app developers. They originally developed, it's a soccer app called Forza Football, I think. They got 4 million users. Do you know Forza Football? You do. Do you use it? Okay. Well, anyway, they got 4 million users, and one of the guy got IBS. And he created this app. So what if they get 4 million users putting in their data regularly? Completely new knowledge. So the doctor says, this data, that will be quite interesting for us to have a look at. So that big data and artificial, and if you start using that data, like with Watson, you know Watson, all of you, artificial intelligence. And this is how it was launched for us normal people to understand what is artificial intelligence. That's when a computer reads all the data on the internet and finds an answer to a question, or in this case, in Jeopardy, when they launched it, the question to an answer. Okay? It's not rocket science that either. It's just speeding up what we could normally have done with our own brains, but speeding it up, analyzing it in milliseconds. So what if we start donating all our data, our vital data, and start using it with a machine like Watson or something like that? Tummy Lab is just the start. So we will get fantastic new knowledge, new diagnosis or earlier diagnosis, better treatment, etc., based on data from millions of people all over the world. And the nice thing is that these technologies, they develop for large populations. They're spread, they're distributed all over the world easily at low cost. In Africa, 5 years ago, more telephones than electric sockets. So people will get access to this. Apps suggesting what you do with your IBS at $1 a year or something. This will completely change the world. And it's a market. It's a huge market. Because in the Western world, we have aging populations, we have increasing healthcare costs, so we have a problem we can't solve. In the rest of the world, we have an increasing population as such, and increasing diabetes and other kinds of chronic diseases. Now, digital health or connected health will solve part of that problem. And this was GSMA estimating the market, 2025, 2020, different organizations do different estimations, no one knows. But $350 billion, that's one figure. 1% out of that is 10,000 new jobs. So many, of course, are interested in doing this. So Silicon Valley, San Diego, Boston, Minnesota, India, South Korea, all have different strengths, different assets to bring to start solving these problems using connected health. In the Nordics, that's the Nordics. So this is how we brag about ourselves. People recognize some of these logos. We can talk about music, we can talk about a lot of things, I won't do that. These are some of the 20 university hospitals in the Nordics. Many hospitals are being built right now. And many governments have increasing attention on new technologies, specifically digital health, e-health, mobile health, call it whatever you want, it's connected health. In Sweden, this is a McKinsey study that just came out a couple of months ago. Now everyone listens to McKinsey, don't they? So McKinsey says that if we don't do anything, our costs for health care and elderly care, primary care, hospital care, all of that will increase from 415 billion to 710 billion in 2025. Unless we utilize the opportunities that digitalization brings, which will actually reduce it by 180. So when McKinsey says that, thank you so much, people start working on that, don't they, Niels? So we've been... They will. And I think you may agree with me that there are a few decisions made already by this region. We have a project running that is developing digital visits in the primary care sector, primarily. We have a decision on starting a test and innovation arena on connected health in Lund, Malmö area. And we have a decision on starting a connectivity institute. Some of you may know of MAPSI. So MAPSI is going to be converted into a connectivity institute. And Region Skåne will put assignments to that institute in the area of connected health to get it started. That's just a few of the decisions that have been made. So the Nordics. I talked about the primary care and hospital care and government control. This is normally government controlled in the Nordics. For other people outside of the Nordics, this is quite extraordinary that we have a healthcare system that is government controlled. We may think that it's scattered, but that's nothing compared to what it is in the US, for instance. The market is so scattered, it's crazy. Entrepreneurs there focus more on solving the system issues. So we can concentrate on solving the healthcare issues easier. So this is something they look at us as Karolinska and all the famous hospitals that we have. They look at us from outside and say, and they know that we have splendid health outcome in our hospitals and that people are happy here. Good hospitals, Nobel Prize, Karolinska, etc. So these are good brands. We also have world-leading diabetes research. We have world-leading Parkinson research, world-leading joint research, arthritis, world-leading hearing impairment research and industry in Denmark. We have numbers of world-leading brands in industry and research in different health aspects. And we also have world-leading, it's us and South Korea that are on the edge of Internet of Things, connectivity, those kind of competencies. That's in Lund, Malmö, and in South Korea. World leaders. This is everything from design on silicon to user interface via sensors, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and everything that is required to do connected health. Sensor development. This is Norrköping, Acreo Printed Electronics. Their latest sensor. This is what it will look like in the future. Cheap plasters communicating practically everything. Amazing. Data records. Also something we actually started in the 17th century. We did. And in the 50s, we started bringing in data on quality on healthcare in diabetes and a lot of other areas. That's extraordinary. And we're used to gathering data. We're terrible at using it, but they don't know that out there. They know that we got this, and we will collect more data. So there's increasing interest from the outside. These are just a few examples. IBM's first Watson Health and Imaging Center of Excellence outside the US is in Helsinki. The Cancer Moonshot Initiative, Obama's, have you heard about it? So he has a moonshot, like the man on the moon, but on cancer diagnostics, to half the time, I think, and compared to something like what they normally achieve, what we normally achieve in 10 years will be achieved in 5 years. In order to do that, they use the Norwegian Cancer Registry. That's really famous. So, Joe Biden, that's his name. Joe Biden is working with Oslo on this. Cerner, have you heard about Cerner? You have? They own Melio. Yeah. But they are actually, Melio is not the big thing. They're actually into the digitalization. They bought Siemens Healthcare to get a foot into Europe. Now they will launch an award in February. I launch it here today, so please start competing for that, to the most innovative Swedish startup in this area. That's just a few samples. So we've started cooperating in the Nordics to get critical mass, to cooperate startups in between themselves, startups in industry, startups in the healthcare system, etc. And these are just a few. These are actually a lot of partners. We're trying to cluster and become bigger together. Startups. Startups is the focus. And we also have, all of these partners have really strong bridgeheads in other parts of the world. We need that to actually be able to reach the market easier. We need that to collaborate on development. We launched in San Diego last year. And we have some 50 plus high potential startups. Some of them are here. And this is some of them on Health 2.0 in Santa Clara. It was last week, or was it the week before? I don't remember. Anyway, so let's go back. I tried to map up the startups that I know in the Nordics on this map, where these are consumers and companies, workplaces, employers, fitness centers, etc. Primary care, elderly care, hospital care. It's just one way of displaying where the startups are. And these are the ones that I know that we have in this community. So if you're not on that list, please talk to me. So what we try to do is to add on to what is already available in incubators and such, business advice, etc. There's a lot to get already. We try to build on top of that things that will be required for you to be extremely successful, internationally growing in the new era, the new connected health industry. It's completely new. And there are loads of hurdles. The community is one thing. You getting to know each other, helping each other. You know, someone could have a solution that you could use. Someone could have a customer that you could get connected with. Whatever. We have power hours with industry, mobile industry, Ericsson, Doro, Huawei, Sony Mobile, SWEP Design Center, Sigma Connectivity. They all meet once a month to help startups. Philips is there too. These are hurdles that needs to be handled to be able to be successful in the connected health side. Regulatory navigation in the new gray zone between mobile and consumer electronics and traditional pharma medtech. It's a huge area of its own. Interoperability and standards, legal, personuppgiftslagen, those kind of things. Test and development, testing and developing products for market and technology, testing it both ways. On clinics, etc. So we're building a testing and development node here for connectivity, linking it to clinics and elderly people in Östergötland, a hospital in Oulu in Finland that has a testing facility for 5G solutions in their new university hospital, and also mimicking different, medical record systems, so you can try them out in a lab beforehand. We've got all kinds of tests and development facilities that we could connect with this connectivity garage, sort of. Do you understand what I'm saying? Very good. So that will be a Nordic test and development facility. And people, we think, will come from elsewhere in the world and actually buy this service. This is where you get your driver's license on your new connected health products. We will also develop access to the Nordic market. We're trying to open up all the government-controlled systems to make them buy new things. And international scaling is also key. So one of the most critical aspects of building a company is scaling. Okay? Thank you so much. This is the future. Earlier diagnosis, better treatment, fewer emergency events, etc. A better world. And we're going to create it from here, aren't we? Thank you.